Hey, I know my voice sounds different. It's AI. I have a speech impairment, but I won't let that stop me from sharing powerful stories. The research, the scripts, the passion, that's all me. If you're here for real content, stick around. This is just the beginning. Luke Perry, life story and career. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. Today, my dear friends, I want to tell you about one of the most important figures of 1990s television who left us way too soon. Listen, folks, I am talking about Luke Perry, the actor who forever inscribed himself in history as Dylan McKay from Beverly Hills 90210. You know what, my friends? Luke Perry passed away in 2019, and he was truly one of the brightest stars of the Beverly Hills 90210 series. This is obviously a show that many of you have huge sentiment for. One of the most popular youth series of all time, if not the most popular, and one of those series that accompanied us in the 90s. My dear viewers, this is the title thanks to which Luke Perry had many female fans. Listen to this. Even in 1991, there was a situation when he was supposed to sign autographs and over 10,000 girls showed up there. Riots broke out and Luke Perry had to escape from there after just 1.5 minutes. So you can imagine what kind of popularity this was, my friends. But not only the Beverly Hills 90210 series, because Luke Perry also appeared in a whole mass of other films and television series. For example, he appeared in the film titled Buffy, the Vampire Slayer. And listen, I am not talking about the series here, but about that original Buffy film in which Donald Sutherland appeared among others. Early life and beginnings. Luke Perry was born in 1966 in Ohio, my dear friends. His mother took care of the home, and his father was a steelworker. He dealt with metal smelting, glass processing, and working with all of that. He also had a brother and sister. His parents divorced when he was only 6 years old, and in 1980 his father died at a very young age. He attended Fredericktown High School, where he worked as the school mascot. This was a high school, and besides that, he earned extra money as a shoe salesman and as a guy who simply worked in a door handle factory. However, later he decided that he wanted to be a model. But it was not an easy matter, my dear friends. Just as many of you have probably heard about various stories of series actors. For example, Wentworth Miller from Prison Break was at thousands of auditions. Stallone was at thousands of auditions before he got his important roles. In this case, it was similar. Over 200 auditions just to get into a commercial. Luke Perry appeared in a Levi's commercial. And a little later, in 1986, he appeared in a music video by the band Twisted Sister with Alice Cooper himself. From the world of advertising, he quickly moved to soap operas. Just like many other cinema heroes, series heroes, or even action cinema heroes, my dear friends. Soap opera years. He appeared in a production in 1987 titled Loving. He appeared there in 7 episodes, and more or less in the same period, he was working on another soap opera titled Another World, where he appeared in 13 episodes. Listen, this Another World has already appeared several times on my channel. I remember that I mentioned this title many times in the context of other childhood roles of various stars. Beverly Hills 90210, The Breakthrough. But in 1990, Luke Perry received an offer to play the role of a millionaire's son, my dear friends, in Beverly Hills 90210. Obviously, this memorable series that presented the school adventures of young people. A series that definitely has cult status and is one of the most important in the history of such youth series. And for some, it is simply the most important series that has ever been created, especially in the 90s. Listen, folks, Beverly Hills 90210 was broadcast in the mid-90s in Poland. I already mentioned this to you. Initially on TVP, and after a few years on TVN. Later it also appeared on Polsat and TV4. I personally have many memories of the Beverly Hills 90210 series. Although I will tell you honestly that I never watched it in its entirety, because I only watched it when it was broadcast on television, and at that time when I was a kid, I did not even realize that this series simply had different seasons. Heck, I did not realize at all that series had any seasons whatsoever. When some episode was on, then some episode was on, and that was it. Now, after years, it also reminds me of several other series because I had the opportunity some time ago to get acquainted with the series The OC. Then we also have characters listen, young people their school adventures, love adventures, home adventures. So obviously, such an association. Listen, my friends, in 1995, Luke Perry decided that he was leaving the Beverly Hills 90210 series. He wanted to fulfill himself as an actor in films. Well, whether it worked out or not, that is not for me to judge. However, he probably got a little tired of playing this character. In many interviews, he said that he was aware that he would be associated with this character for the rest of his life. But he made the decision to resign, however not completely, because in later seasons somewhere in the late 90s, he also appeared in this series as a guest. However, he did not appear, my dear friends, in the spin-off that came out years later, 90210. Not many people are aware that a spin-off came out. So if someone was watching everything from Beverly Hills and would like to watch the continuation, the continuation sequel, spin-off, then they can do it. My dear friends, Perry played in a total of 199 episodes, which definitely solidified his position as an actor. Film career during Beverly Hills. In the meantime of creating Beverly Hills 90210 in the early 90s, he also appeared in other productions. Among others, he appeared in 91 in the film Hot Night. It was a small role, but in this production appeared among others a guy who you may know from Coming to America or the film Best of the Best, namely the amazing voice James Earl Jones. However, in 92 he played in a drama titled The Last Rain. This was already a big role. And in the same year, precisely Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Donald Sutherland. Such a prototype of what we could later watch obviously in series form also on Polish television. 1994, this is the title I also mentioned at the beginning, namely 8 Seconds, my dear friends. A drama, a biographical drama directed by John G. Avildsen. Definitely an underrated production. A production that grabs your heart, which you watch with tension through each of those 8 seconds. I say this to those who know what it is about. He also did voice work. Luke Perry did voice work as obviously himself in The Simpsons, but also listen in Biker Mice from Mars. I do not know if you remember such a title. I watched it as a kid, so Perry also worked with his voice there. And not only in this production, but in a whole mass of other productions. Later film career. In 1996, he appeared in the film Normal Life. It was a crime film in which he appeared with Ashley Judd. However, in 97, a great cinema production, namely The Fifth Element. We have Bruce Willis there, obviously, Gary Oldman. Those who remember also know that Chris Tucker appeared there, known from Rush Hour with Jackie Chan. And we also have Luke Perry in a small role. Maybe this role did not have too much influence on his career, but it was nice that we could see him on big screens, my dear friends. In 97, such a production, Thriller, The Price of Air. In the same year, also the amazing series Oz. He appeared in 10 episodes. I never watched this, so I will not express myself much on this title. However, at the end of the 90s, such a film Storm, in which he appeared with Martin Sheen, or in 99 The Heist, where he appeared next to the legendary rapper Ice-T. After the year 2000, many series and film stars somewhere faded away. However, Luke Perry somehow managed. He appeared in the film production titled Enemy, as well as in such a film The Triangle, around which obviously various kinds of mysterious stories and legends circulate. However, in 2001 and 2002, he appeared in 10 episodes of the series Oz Prison, and this is worth paying attention to, because, it is one of those prison series that achieved huge success. Maybe not as popular as Prison Break, which came out later, but a very good series, so it is worth taking a look at it, and just in those few episodes to see Luke Perry. A little later, he appeared in the series Jeremiah, My Dear Friends. There he appeared in over 30 episodes as well as in several weaker films, among other Supernova. Such productions, let us say B-class, low budget. But the very fact that he got some non-series roles is definitely a plus. Final years in Riverdale. In 2007, he appeared in the production John from Cincinnati. It was 10 episodes. So another series, as you can see, not only Beverly Hills 90210. In 2008, comedy The Rocker. Not the main role, but significant. In 2011, Good Night. And here it is worth paying attention to this nice Western trilogy, because he appeared in a film trilogy. In 2012, he appeared in 5 episodes of the series Body of Proof. And in 2013, A Dog That Saved Christmas. Obviously, a family comedy. My Dear Friends, in 2017, he began work on the series Riverdale, where he played Fred Andrews, the father of the main character. The series told about a group of friends trying to solve a murder case. He appeared in 47 episodes in this production. And just before his death, he appeared in a great Hollywood production directed by none other than the legendary Quentin Tarantino, namely Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where obviously Leonardo DiCaprio played the main role, Brad Pitt. We also have Al Pacino, so excellent cast. And Luke Perry had the opportunity once again to appear on cinema screens around the world in a huge production. Personal life and tragic end. Luke Perry was married to Rachel Sharp from 1993 to 2003 when they divorced. Well, later he was engaged. Listen, on February 27, 2019, he suffered a massive stroke in his home in Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles. He was taken to the hospital. There in the hospital, he suffered another stroke, and on March 4, 2019, with the family's consent, he was disconnected from life support equipment. A tragic story, my dear friends. He died at the age of 52, so very young. From what is known, he also had a wedding date set with his fiancée. He was during the production of the Riverdale series. My dear friends, the causes of death. Specialists indicate various causes of death. One of them was thrombosis, considered the main cause of death, and the fact that Luke Perry very often lately, just while making the Riverdale series, traveled by plane from Los Angeles to Vancouver and back. Basically constantly flying. Apparently some clot, something broke off, caused an embolism and led to a stroke. But specialists also determined that genetic matters could also matter here. After all, his father died at a very young age. So my dear friends, a tragic story. A man who, well, in the 90s was one of the most popular stars. Besides him, others from the Beverly Hills 90210 series were also popular, but he was definitely one of those brightest stars. If you'd like me to discuss someone else from this series here, or maybe from another series, maybe from Friends, let me know in the comments. That is all for today, my dear viewers. Take care of yourselves, and see you in the next episode.